Blake Lively scores a win amid her ongoing legal battle against Justin Baldoni. After the Gossip Girl alum and husband Ryan Reynolds applied for a protective order earlier this month to keep sensitive information from circulating to the public, a judge for the Southern District of New York has approved a modified version of the order.
Ryan Reynolds is jokingly calling out his wife, Blake Lively, for
big win in court today for Fakely. However, she shouldn't be celebrating too hard.
Hollywood's biggest courtroom showdown just got even messier. Blake Lively, the adored actress, fashion icon, and queen of effortless charm, is now at the heart of a scandal that's sending shockwaves through the industry. In a major legal twist, Lively just scored a big win in her case against It Ends With Us director and co-star Justin Baldoni. But hold on, this is just the beginning. Lively is suing Baldoni over alleged on-set misconduct and a brutal post-film smear campaign. And Baldoni, he's hitting back with a jaw-dropping $400 million counter-lawsuit. This battle is far from over, and Hollywood is watching every move. Stay tuned, because this drama is just getting started.
Big update in one of Justin Baldoni's legal battles. After the New York Times filed a motion to exit the director's $400 million federal defamation lawsuit that also names Blake Lively, husband Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist, a judge has granted the newspaper's request for stay of discovery on March 4th, according to documents obtained by E! News. The filing, which requests that the judge temporarily halt parties from having to exchange information or documents, was granted as United States District Judge Louis J. Lyman reviews the outlet's February 28th motion of dismissal. He notes in the most recent document that the New York Times, which is included in the lawsuit for its December reporting on Blake's Civil Rights Department complaint, presents, quote, substantial grounds and a strong showing that its motion to dismiss is likely to succeed on the merits.
The judge overseeing their federal case in New York, Judge Lyman, ruled on the former B-list actress's request for an additional layer of protection. The unliftable Blake was not happy with the standard protective order in the case. She wanted an attorney's eyes only designation. And the judge has granted that. Congrats to Taylor Swift. Of the judge's ruling, a spokesperson for Delulu says, quote, today, the court rejected the Wayfarer party's objections and entered the protections needed to ensure the free flow of discovery material without any risk of witness intimidation or harm to any individual's security. With this order in place, Ms. Lively will move forward in the discovery process to obtain even more of the evidence that will prove her claims in court.
And just when you thought things couldn't get any crazier, one small moment changed everything. A single smirk from Blake Lively in court, and the internet went wild. Was it a quiet sign of victory, or something far more strategic? With feuds boiling over, leaked messages surfacing, and Hollywood power moves in full swing, we're breaking down all the explosive details. Buckle up, because this scandal is only getting bigger, and you won't want to miss a second of it.
The Post said a few things that when we look back now, that kind of makes sense. There were a few things mentioned that insinuates some of the drama that was going on that set. First of all, the person is saying that Blake Lively felt uncomfortable around Justin Baldoni. The person is also claiming that Blake Lively felt uncomfortable when the word "C" was used. And the person also says that, which is what I think most people are reacting to, is that Blake Lively went to Sony Studios and said, if you don't go for my cut of this movie, my version of this movie, I will go out in the New York Times and accuse Justin Baldoni of harassment. And as we know, that is what happened at a later point. But if this is true, that she threatened Sony back then to go to the New York Times and accuse Justin Baldoni of these things, that is pretty damning.
All right, let's dive into the courtroom showdown that has everyone talking. Insiders reveal that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni have been locked in a heated legal battle for months. The lawsuit, it's a storm of accusations, defamation, misconduct, and emotional distress, with both sides refusing to back down and pointing fingers at each other. And from the looks of it, this fight is far from over.
Blake Lively plaintiff versus Wayfair, then it's Wayfair plaintiff versus Blake Lively. It's a dueling lawsuit, all consolidated into one, at least for pretrial purposes. Part of the argument by Justin Baldoni is going to try to get their case against the New York Times in California to get away from some of the generous laws that exist in New York State. And of course, that's where the New York Times is located. But they argue your defamatory statements affect my client specifically in California.
If you support Justin, that you are somehow misogynistic, you hate women.
And here's where things took a dramatic turn. During a crucial moment in the trial, the judge didn't hold back, reportedly reprimanding Justin Baldoni for alleged misconduct, calling his actions unprofessional and inexcusable. The fallout? A massive financial blow, as Baldoni was allegedly ordered to pay substantial damages to Blake Lively. While some fans see this as a well-deserved outcome, others argue that Baldoni was unfairly singled out. Could there be more going on behind the scenes? And more importantly, what exactly sparked that now viral smirk from Blake Lively?
Why is no one talking to Justin? Why is he doing all the press alone? Why is he getting shunned in interviews? Why is he getting unfollowed on Instagram by Blake Lively, his co-star, and the lead of the movie he directed, and weirdly Colleen Hoover, who is the author of the book.
Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's on-set partnership has turned into a Hollywood legal nightmare. From harassment allegations to a bitter defamation war, the drama behind It Ends With Us is more than just a movie plot. And a lot of people are making comparisons between this case and the infamous battle between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Now, let's talk about the moment that sent the media into a frenzy: Blake Lively's now infamous courtroom smirk. According to eyewitnesses, just as the judge ruled against Justin Baldoni, Blake was caught flashing what many saw as a triumphant, almost amused smirk. But was it just a fleeting reaction, or something far more calculated? Legal experts say the ruling was a major blow to Baldoni, determining that due to the complexity and sensitivity of the case, a highly controlled discovery process would be enforced. In simple terms, certain key documents will be accessible only to attorneys, greatly reducing the risk of leaks that could sway public opinion. This decision alone shifts the power dynamics of the case, and some believe Blake's smirk was her subtle way of celebrating this small but significant victory.
Judge Lyman explains that the burden of discovery is not measured only by the number of pages. He emphasizes it is also determined by the complexity of the issue that discovery will present and the sensitivity of the documents that will be requested. The judge adds that if the court denies the newspaper's motion, Justin's team, who is also suing the New York Times in a separate $250 million defamation lawsuit, can request the extent of discovery they are seeking. A New York Times spokesperson addresses the latest update in a statement to E! News, saying, quote, "We appreciate the court's decision today, which recognizes the important First Amendment values at stake here. The court has stopped Mr. Baldoni from burdening the Times with discovery requests in a case that should never have been brought against."
As the trial unfolds, all eyes are on the sealed documents. What secrets do they hold? Could they contain damning evidence that strengthens Blake's case, or will they pull back the curtain on an even deeper, more tangled web of Hollywood power and deception? With every new twist, this legal showdown is turning into one of the biggest scandals in recent memory. Social media is in overdrive. Some believe Blake's smirk was nothing more than relief that the legal battle was nearing its end, while others see it as a calculated power move, a silent yet undeniable message to Justin and her critics. Even body language experts have weighed in, suggesting her expression was a telling mix of confidence and vindication. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is clear: this fight is far from over.
Baldoni had apparently subpoenaed a security firm that works with the couple, and Gavrnsky argued there was no reason why their security arrangements should be made public for everybody to see. And she also raised the alarm about potential disclosure of Lively's medical information, including, quote, profound mental health issues, as well as details about her children, the locations of private residences, and, quote, personal and intimate conversations with third parties. And Gavrnsky argued that while these conversations might have, quote, marginal relevance to the case, their, quote, PR will be high if leaked. And she cited Baldoni's alleged connections to individuals who, quote, will do anything and hate Miss Lively, claiming he was operating on an unlimited budget and had, quote, committed $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family. This seems to be in reference to another one of the defendants in this case, Steve Sarowitz, who allegedly pledged at one point that he would spend $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family.
But here's an interesting twist. A source close to Blake Lively is shutting down all the speculation, insisting that the smirk has been completely misinterpreted. Blake wasn't gloating, the insider claimed. Instead, they say she was simply reacting to the sheer intensity of the moment. So, was this a subtle jab at Justin Baldoni? Or has the internet blown things way out of proportion? To truly understand, let's rewind and take a closer look at their history. On the surface, Blake and Justin are two highly respected figures in Hollywood, but what most people don't realize is that their past is far from smooth.
The Baldoni team is being accused of malfeasance, of sexual harassment, and in exchange, they have filed a counter lawsuit claiming defamation and basically extortion, saying that Blake Lively tried to steal this movie from Justin Baldoni. And one of the allegations is to show the pressure that was put on Justin Baldoni, who I might refer to, for purposes of example, as a C-list actor, someone who was best known for his role in Jane the Virgin, which most people haven't even seen or heard of. In fact, before this lawsuit, many people did not even know who Justin Baldoni was, because he is not at the level of Blake Lively and her very famous husband, Ryan Reynolds. So Baldoni buys the rights to this movie and starts producing the movie. And as we know, as things unfold, Blake Lively accuses him of doing all kinds of things. And as a response, Justin Baldoni and his team come back and say, not only did we not do those things, but Blake Lively is the one that's complicit here. Blake Lively is the one that tried to steal this whole entire production out from under.
Insiders say Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni weren't always at odds. In fact, they were once on good terms, even collaborating on projects. But somewhere along the way, things took a sharp turn. Rumors suggest that a major fallout over a film project sparked tension between them, with whispers of backstabbing and betrayal fueling the fire.
It now appears like a lot of that drama was fabricated by Justin Baldoni's PR team, according to Blake. When the movie was released, there were a ton of rumors surrounding disputes that happened on set, that there was a feud between the two actors. They refused to appear together to promote the film, and there was a ton of public backlash against Blake for how she was responding to questions about domestic violence and would kind of joke or make light of it. And she also was accused of using the opportunity, while talking about these sensitive topics, to self-promote and push her new hair care line.
Some industry insiders claim that Justin Baldoni originally approached Blake Lively for a role in one of his directorial projects, but creative differences got in the way, and the collaboration never came to life. Was this the moment that sparked their bad blood? We may never know for sure. But one thing is clear: their relationship soured over time, ultimately spiraling into the explosive courtroom battle that now has all of Hollywood holding its breath.
You cannot find simply one picture of Ryan Reynolds and Justin Baldoni online. You can't find one on the red carpets. I have not been able to find anything. If you Google Ryan Reynolds, Justin Baldoni, the only pictures that come up are Justin alone, Justin with his wife, Ryan and Hugh Jackman, or Ryan with Blake Lively. There is something going on. It's bigger probably than we can even imagine. I love the spin that they're trying to say that because Justin Baldoni plays a character that is physically abusive in the book/movie. If you haven't seen or read the book, that is what a lot of it is about. And because he plays the villain, they're trying to kind of like separate him out. Do you believe that he was the source of the issues? Meaning he saw this movie as something else. He wanted to run this production in a different way than everyone else did. He had different intentions for this film, and it went against every single other person, including the author of the book. Did Justin Baldoni want to make this movie a really dark, depressing, serious film where everyone, including Colleen Hoover, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Jenny Slate, maybe the studios, who knows, wanted to make it more of an uplifting, like, flower film, which is what you see in all the promos? Because Blake Lively doesn't exactly equal, like, serious dramatic actress. She is synonymous with, like, the Taylor Swift, Swiftie generation. And so between her and Ryan Reynolds, who runs all these, like, funny comedic type films, is there a world where they were thinking that, they wanted It Ends With Us, which is a book serious, like, about some serious DV issues, like major drama. It's not just like a happy movie or a happy book. It shouldn't be. Is that what the issue is? What could have been the issue?
But here's where things take an even wilder turn. Taylor Swift has now been pulled into the drama. Judge Liz recently ruled that Swift holds relevant evidence in the case, officially making her a material witness. While it's unclear exactly what she knows, sources speculate that her close friendship with Blake Lively may have given her insider knowledge of key events behind the scenes. And given Swift's history of speaking out against industry injustices and manipulations, her involvement could add an entirely new layer to this already explosive legal battle.
Why do I believe Taylor Swift is a material witness? I'll tell you why. Justin Baldoni claims that on a specific evening, Blake Lively invited him over to her home in New York City so that they could discuss some possible script changes. Now, this was not her role. She was not hired as a writer. She was not hired to, make script changes. But Justin Baldoni said, he wanted to humor her. He wanted to keep things going smoothly. So he agreed to go over and meet with her for what he anticipated was a business meeting. Now, he walks into this townhouse, and not only is her husband there, who's extremely famous, who happens to be a billionaire, who's one of the most famous actors, A-list actors of all time, but also her bestie, Taylor Swift, is there. At first glance, that's also fine, because, maybe they were hanging out and Taylor Swift happened to be there, and they were gonna, maybe Blake was gonna take some time out of her socializing with Taylor Swift to have this business meeting. But the problem is that when Baldoni arrived, Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds didn't just go to the other room, didn't, leave the two of them, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, alone so that they could discuss whatever they needed to discuss. They actually participated in and sort of ganged up on Justin Baldoni in encouraging him to make the script changes that Blake Lively laid out. Now, let me tell you what the problem is with this. There's simply no way that Taylor Swift can explain her presence at this penthouse during this business meeting and her interference in the business meeting without conceding that she was in fact trying to influence Justin Baldoni. And I'll tell you why. When called to the stand to testify, Taylor Swift is going to be put on the spot and asked specifically why she was there. And assuming she's going to say, I just happened to be there hanging out with my friend, the next questions are going to be, and how did you get involved with reading the script? How did you get involved with reading the Blake Lively's changes to the script? How did you get involved in approaching Justin Baldoni when he walked in and trying to promote and encourage him to adopt Blake's changes to the script? Who asked you to do that? Did you do that on your own? Did you do that at the request of your friend? And what was the point of you doing that?
With explosive allegations, courtroom bombshells, and surprise witnesses entering the fray, this trial is quickly becoming one of Hollywood's most shocking legal battles yet.
Now, Gavrnsky also accused Baldoni's team of even bragging about leaking information, quote, without fingerprints and in an untraceable way, further heightening the risk of irreparable harm. She argued that even contempt proceedings for violating a protective order wouldn't, quote, unring the bell if sensitive information were made public. Now, Justin Baldoni's legal team, they weren't having this. His attorney, Brian Friedman, who as we know has been quite outspoken about this case, fired back, calling the proposal unnecessary and even offensive, saying, of beating up or harming Miss Lively in any way. And Friedman went on to say that he believed the court's model protective order, which is the standard order that the federal court has, basically a template, that's protective enough. And as far as the attorney's eyes only stipulation or designation goes, Friedman argued that his team shouldn't be burdened with having to work around that, saying we shouldn't be put into a position where we're the ones that have to run to court every single time just given attorney's eyes only protection. My client has a right to defend himself. And he also argued that Lively and Reynolds' request would unfairly treat celebrities and powerful industry figures differently from everyone else involved in the
Now, let's talk about the aftermath. Since this courtroom moment went viral, both celebrities and fans have been weighing in. Blake Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, wasted no time addressing the drama in his signature witty style. When asked about the Smirk controversy, he quipped, "Blake smirking? Impossible. She's an angel. Case closed." Meanwhile, Chrissy Teigen chimed in on Twitter, writing, "Smirking in court? That's legendary. I aspire to that level of confidence. But not everyone is taking sides. Some celebrities have come to Justin Baldoni's defense. Gabrielle, Union took to Instagram urging caution. We don't know the full story. Let's not be so quick to judge."
The big takeaway, though, that all the headlines are approaching is that she is now making it clear there are other women who felt uncomfortable on the set and that they will testify at trial. Now, that would seem damning, but she doesn't really offer really any specifics. She doesn't provide any text. She doesn't tell us who these people are. Just says they don't want to get involved right now, given all the toxic virality out there, and that they will testify if necessary and be part of disclosures, etc., coming up, depositions, what have you. The first thing I noticed is, as I compared it to the last one, a lot of texts were actually removed. This is the new document, as I made a note here, but as you'll notice here, this is the original complaint. As you can see, that first text is still there, but she removed, they removed quite a few texts, specifically these right here. I want to show you the one, sorry, this is the one I'm trying to show you. The majority of socials are pro-Justin, and then they moved on their section. Majority of socials are Justin, but she removed the, he doesn't realize how lucky he is right now. You need to press on him how effing lucky. Whispering near, the connotations, the JFC, other members feeling uncomfortable watching it. I mean, there's just so much. Now, you'd think these texts would be very important in her new amended complaint, but she's removed them. They're not in this complaint at all now. And part of the reason is probably because Justin revealed the context of these texts, because they did look more nefarious. But the context, if you read the full exchange, shows that Justin's publicists are saying it doesn't even matter if it's not true. And so the context of that exchange shows that they're out there combating lies.
Hollywood is clearly divided, and the media isn't letting this story fade anytime soon. The controversy has been dominating conversations, proving once again that nothing fuels industry gossip like a high-profile courtroom battle. But the bigger question remains. What does this entire ordeal reveal about the inner workings of Hollywood?
The FAC gives the New York Times adequate notice of the claims against it. The FAC alleges that the New York Times conspired with Lively, Reynolds, Sloan, and Vision PR to advance a false and defamatory narrative concerning the Wayfair parties, ultimately coordinating a near simultaneous drop of the article, video, and CRD complaint. The allegations in these three documents fall into two principal categories. One, allegations that certain of the Wayfair parties engaged in sexual misconduct towards Lively, and two, allegations that the Wayfair parties orchestrated a retaliatory smear campaign to damage Lively's image and reputation after she purportedly reported their alleged misconduct. Those allegations are false, and the New York Times either knew they were false or acted with reckless disregard as to their falsity. To the extent the New York Times is grouped in part of the FAC with other consolidated defendants, that is because, as alleged in the FAC, they conspired in secret over a matter of months. The precise contours of the New York Times' involvement were carefully concealed and impossible to ascertain fully without discovery.
Time and again, we've seen Hollywood's biggest names caught up in lawsuits, scandals, and public fallouts. The pressure to maintain a flawless image is relentless, and one wrong move can make or break a career. Just look at recent controversies, whether it's the legal battles of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, or the high-profile disputes involving Shia LaBeouf, the industry has no shortage of drama.
There have been a lot of comparisons between this case and the Johnny Depp Amber Heard legal saga that unfolded in 2022. There is a big difference here, practically. We won't have cameras in the courtroom for the proceedings and potentially an upcoming trial for Lively Baldoni, this federal case. But why are we seeing the comparisons? Why are people making the comparisons? And do you think those comparisons ring true?
Jesse, thank you for having me. It's great to be here and to see you again. I think there are some comparisons. You have, on both sides, you have prominent actors, which you had also in the Depp case. I think the stakes are a little bit different in this case. In Johnny's case, he was suing for defamation. He was really suing to get his reputation back. It was more of an existential issue for him, a challenge that we had, and I think the other side had, but I think they really have it in this case, is to convince a jury of lay people why they should care about a dispute between two very powerful, successful, attractive actors. And I think that's a challenge irrespective of the serious nature of the allegations.
That's very true. And look, the allegations that were leveled in depth we heard were very, very different than what we're talking about.
Is this case just another example of how quickly Hollywood can turn on someone? Or does it highlight a deeper lesson about accountability and resilience in the industry?
Talk about how important receipts are. And obviously, Justin is bringing so many receipts. I was at a bachelorette weekend with people who were so team lively, I was like caught off guard. And so I kind of want to act like I'm one of them right now and ask you some questions. They were saying to me, well, women have nothing to gain from coming out like that. I was trying to explain, well, this particular woman did. What would you say when people say women have nothing to gain by claiming sexual harassment?
Well, I would say that generally, no. You don't have much to gain, but like we've seen before, like for example, Amber Heard, she had a lot to gain, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to getting a settlement from Johnny Depp and so on. And with Blake Lively now, that we've seen the receipts from Justin Baldoni, and I think all those people that you're talking about that are pro-Blake, they haven't bothered to look into his side of things. And what happened when that New York Times article came out? So many people jumped on that straight away, being like, oh my God, she sounds like a queen.
One thing is certain, both Blake and Justin are now navigating uncharted territory. What happens next will decide whether this scandal fades away or becomes a defining chapter in their careers. That's it for today's deep dive. Now I want to hear from you. Was Blake Lively's smirk justified or unnecessary? Is Justin Baldoni being unfairly treated, or does he deserve the backlash? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe for more celebrity deep dives, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.